You are 26 years old. You live in Scranton, Pennsylvania. You install auto glass for a company with 2 locations, and you make $38,000 a year before taxes. After rent, the student loan from the 2 years you did not finish, and a 2011 Corolla with a crack in its own windshield you have never gotten around to fixing, you have about $180 left at the end of every month. Your mother raised you alone in a second-floor apartment on Cedar Street. She worked 14 years at the same nursing home, mostly nights. When you were 9, she sold her wedding ring to pay for a school trip to Washington and told you she had lost it at the laundromat. You found out the truth when you were 19. You have never doubted her since. It is 9:40 on a Wednesday night in March. You are in the parking lot of the gas station on Meadow Avenue, still in your work shirt, checking the numbers on your phone before you drive home. You check them against the ticket. Then you check them again. Then you turn the car off so the radio stops, and you check them a third time. $54 million. Level 1. The night. You do not call anyone. You drive 14 minutes to Cedar Street with the ticket in your shirt pocket, holding it flat against your chest with one hand at every red light. Your mother opens the door in her robe. You hand it to her without saying anything. She reads it twice and sits down on the arm of the couch. She cries for a while. Then she laughs. Then she asks if you have eaten. You talk until 2 in the morning. You talk about her knees. You talk about the nursing home. You talk about a house with a first floor and a yard and no stairs. When you stand up to leave, she says the thing that ends this part of your life. Leave it here tonight. Your car gets broken into twice a year. I will put it in the box at the bank first thing, and we will go together. You put it in the drawer of the side table, under the takeout menus, where she keeps things. You drive home. You do not sleep. You are the happiest you have ever been. Level 2. The morning. You are at the bank on Wyoming Avenue at 9. You wear the only collared shirt you own. You have a folder with nothing in it because you did not know what to bring. She does not come. You call at 9:20 and she does not answer. You call at 10 and she picks up and says she got there early and it is already done. It is already in the box. Stop worrying. You feel a small thing move in your chest and you put it away because this is your mother. You go to work. You install a windshield on a Ford Escape. You eat lunch in the van. You tell nobody. That night, you drive to Cedar Street, and the side table drawer is open and empty. And she says, of course it is. That is what putting it in the bank means. Level 3. The claim. 2 weeks later, you are at the shop, and Marcus, who has worked there longer than you, is holding his phone out across the counter. The state announces winners with a photograph. A woman holding an oversized cheque in front of a blue backdrop. It is your mother. She is wearing the blouse she wears to funerals. Marcus says, "Is that your mom?" You say, "Yes." You go outside. You stand in the parking lot for 11 minutes. And then you go back in and finish the escape you started that morning, because you do not know what else a person does. Level 4. The explanation. You go to Cedar Street that night. She is expecting you. There is coffee already made. She does not deny it. That is the part you are not ready for. She sits down across from you and explains it like a plan she is proud of. She says you would have lost it. She says you lose everything. You have always lost everything. You lost the ring you were given at your grandmother's funeral. She says, A young man with $54 million is a young man who is dead in 3 years. She says she is protecting the money for you. She says she will give you what you need when you need it. You ask her when she decided. You ask if it was in the drawer or on the way to the bank or standing at the counter with the pen in her hand. She says, "I did it for you." And you realize she is not lying. That is worse. Level 5. The lawyer. 2 days later, you sit in a small office above a pharmacy downtown. The attorney is a woman in her 40s named Miss Petrov, who takes contingency cases and tells you the truth immediately. She says, a lottery ticket is a bearer instrument. Whoever is holding it owns it. There is no name on that piece of paper until somebody signs the back of it. She asks if you have a photograph of it. You do not. She asks if you have the receipt. You threw it in the bin by the pump. She asks if anyone saw you buy it. The cashier that night was a kid you had never seen before. She says there is one thing left. She says every gas station in the state keeps camera footage on a loop. She asks what day you bought it. You tell her. She turns her monitor around and counts on a calendar. 71 days. Level 6. The footage. You drive to the gas station on Meadow Avenue at 7 in the morning because that is when the manager is there. His name is Dev. He has run this station for 9 years. You have bought a ticket from him almost every Friday for 4 of them, and he has never once asked your name. You tell him what you need and why. He listens to the whole thing without interrupting. Then he says, 90 days. After that, it writes over itself. He goes into the back. You stand at the counter next to the hot dog roller, and you do not move for 20 minutes. He comes out with a laptop and turns it around on the counter. 9:41, that Wednesday in March. A man in a work shirt at the machine. Then the same man in the parking lot in a Corolla, sitting still for 4 minutes. Dev copies the file twice, once for you and once for himself. He says, I will keep mine until you tell me you do not need it. Level 7. The settlement. It never reaches a courtroom. Her lawyers see the footage in October, and the whole thing is over in 9 weeks. She keeps $6 million. You receive the rest, and after federal tax, state tax, and Ms. Petrov's third, you are left with a little over $12 million. You sign in a conference room on the 4th floor of a building on Spruce Street. She is at the other end of a table with 6 chairs and 4 people. She does not look at the documents. She looks at you the entire time she is signing. On the way out, she stops beside you in the corridor and says the last sentence you will hear from her. You did not have to do this to me. Level 8. What it cost. You are 31 now. You live in a house with a first floor and a yard and no stairs, which is a thing you notice about once a month and never say out loud to anyone. You paid off the shop where you used to work and gave it to Marcus. You put $4 million into a fund that covers nursing home costs for people in Lackawanna County who cannot cover them. You did not put your name on it. Your mother lives 11 minutes from here. You have not spoken in 4 years and 8 months. She sends a card in December. It is always signed the same way, and it never mentions any of it. You keep them in a drawer, under things, where you keep things.
The part you cannot get past is not the money. It is that you cannot work out which version of her was the real one. Because a woman who sells her wedding ring for a school trip and a woman who signs the back of your ticket at a counter are not supposed to be the same person. And she told herself the same sentence both times. The architecture of wealth is that money does not change anybody. It only removes whatever was holding them back. Subscribe if you want to know what comes next.